Hey guys, welcome back. What I have here today is an old carbon torch. This is really old technology. It actually predates World War II. It runs on these carbon rods over here. I did make a video many years ago on this torch, but I didn't have my HD camera, so it wasn't as clear. This video is going to be a better explanation, and I'm going to show you exactly how this thing works. First of all, this torch is made by Lincoln. They're not available anymore. It's actually really good quality. It's got quite a long cable over here. I believe it's about 12 feet long. And at one end the cable is like this, and at the other one it's a clamp. And you can use this with your left or right hand. You just move this little knob over here. It actually moves the two rods together. You'll see that later on in the video. And if you Google carbon arc torch, there are instructions online on how to make one of these yourself. And over here are the rods that I use for that. And they have an outer copper lining. You can get these at any welding shop usually, although they may be getting harder to find nowadays. And this is my Lincoln AC225 welder that I use to run the carbon torches. Before you use your carbon arc torches, you want to make the tip of the rods pointy. I use my grinder for that. Make sure you wear safety glasses while you do this, and it would not hurt if you wore some kind of mask. Now I've got both rods sharpened. It's a lot easier to control the arc, and even with the rods pointy like this, sometimes it is a challenge. Now I rarely ever use these torches in my shop anymore because I do have a set of oxyacetylene torches now. But when I did use them, it was to heat up parts that I couldn't get apart. For example, nuts and bolts that are seized, pulleys that are seized on shafts as well, and other metal parts. It came in very handy for that. The downside to this is that the flame is hard to control. It's a big flame. It's not as accurate as oxyacetylene torches, so you do have to be extremely careful using it because you don't want to end up melting your parts. And I'll show you how to set up the rods. You just put them in here. Now you got to be careful with these rods because they do snap easily. They are brittle. So I'm going to make them as long as I can here. So the trick here is to have both rods meet evenly at the end. Once you've got it lined up properly, just retighten the screws over here. Now with your thumb, just check it out. If you do find the rods are a bit long, you can cut them and then grind them to a point. By having them shorter, there's less chances of breaking them. So if you keep the long rods like this, when you put your torch away, you may want to take the rods out of the torch. So now to hook up the torch to the welder, just grab the clamp from the welder here. Clamp it to one end of the cables from the torches. Now at the other end, which is the stick holder, I left a piece of a rod in there. This will act as a conductor to the alligator clamp from the torches. So just hook that up. Make absolutely sure that these don't touch each other because you're going to have some sparks and something will blow somewhere. So I'm going to leave sufficient space between both connectors. You are going to need your welding mask, and I do like to wear safety glasses behind the mask as well. What I'll be doing today is showing you how quickly you can heat up metal so that it gets red hot. And I'm also going to gouge a hole in this. It's not going to be clean or perfect by any means, but it's going to show you what you can do with these torches. Now you can set your welder according to the thickness of the steel you're going to heat up or the flame that you want. I'm going to start off at 120 today. If I want more flame, I'll turn it up. If I want less, I'll just go back. But that's a good starting point. And now I'm ready to try this torch out. So as you can see there, I got that piece of metal red hot. But you can see in the process that the flame is not accurate. It's all over the place. And here's what the rods look like after a bit of use. You can see the pointy end is gone. Now you can take them off and make them pointy again, or just keep using it the way it is. If you're busy, you won't have time to keep taking them off. If they're not aligned anymore, you just basically loosen the thumb screws and readjust them. They don't seem too bad for now. Now I'm going to turn the heat up to 135. I'm going to try and burn a hole right through this small metal plate here. So you can see I went through that metal plate quite easily. The hole's not that bad actually, it's quite round. So you wouldn't want to do this if you had to be precise. And when the hole breaks right through, there are a lot of sparks on the floor, so make sure you don't have anything flammable in your shop. And it is a bit hard because of the camera lens to see exactly what the flame is like. It gives you a good idea though. If you guys know what filters I should get for my camera to film welding, please comment below. But you can clearly see from this video that you can heat up stuff red hot fairly quickly and fairly inexpensive as well. The only big drawback is that the flame is not precise and accurate as an oxyacetylene torch. But this little torch has gotten me out of many jams over the years before I had the oxyacetylene torches. What I'm going to do now is heat up this piece of metal and see if I can melt a bit of this brazing rod on there. There it is cooling off, and it was quite fast. I've seen a lot of older guys use this process to weld fuel tanks and also old snowmobile mufflers. So in the old days that was quite common to do that. You probably won't see that nowadays unless somebody does not have the proper welders. I've actually cleaned the piece with a wire brush here just to show you how good it stuck onto the metal. So for gas tanks and mufflers, it would do a really good job. Mind you, if you do use this to do that, make sure you don't burn right through your gas tank or your muffler because they are thin. So again, I'll just give you a quick overview of how this is hooked up. You get the two cables coming out of your welder. One goes to one cable on the arc torches, and the clamp from your welder goes on to the other cable of your torches. I don't think it matters which you connect to what, but I've always connected the flat end of the cable to the clamps on the welder. So if you do come across an old set, it's going to have one flat end and one end with an alligator clip, and I just put an old rod in the rod holder of the welder that hooks up to that clip. And then you just have your carbon rods that you can adjust properly. You can adjust them up or down depending on what you're comfortable with. And again, when you're done, I recommend that you take them out of the torches so that they don't break. And I'm going to take them out right now because I've had the torch fall before with new rods like this and they just snapped. So hopefully my video today has answered all your questions on the carbon arc torch. If I forgot to mention anything, please comment below the video. Make sure to share this video, like it, and subscribe, and have yourselves a great day.